Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Burger Up was a small card game that I played a few years ago, and quite honestly, I didn't like it. I thought I had sold it off and reviewed it, and then I found it on my shelf one day, and I was like, hey, I don't like this game. Let's play it and get rid of it. And then something weird happened. I ended up liking it, and my wife liked it even more than I did. It's kind of a card drafting game where you have certain actions, and these orders up, and they want the hamburgers to have certain things on them. But you can only take an ingredient and play it based on the icons that are kind of on it, and you're looking for certain icons, and you have to kind of match the icons in order to play the next thing, unless you get a bun, which can be a wild, and you score points for how big of a hamburger you have, but also meeting the requirements of the orders that were before you. And you have a choice during the game when you build a big one that you can get an upgrade or you can score more points. So you have some decisions about what you're going to get. And you can't just willy take those cards because they cost you money, which is victory points. And you have to be kind of careful about what you're playing and kind of plan this out a little bit. Burger Up is quick. It's fun. The cards are square, so a little bit harder to shuffle in my mind. But your burgers look really cool as you're building them. You have this aspect of building these giant burgers as you're going through, and it's really neat. Sometimes you get hosed a little bit if the orders are taken, but somebody else takes the order that you're building. You're kind of stuck with this burger, and there's nothing you can build. You can build multiple burgers. That kind of helps you kind of build the time. You can just build for points if you want to, but at some point you're going to need to fulfill an order, and you can kind of get yourself backed into a corner sometimes. Here is Burger Up. You can already see it has a very striking cover. Building burgers of epic proportions. That's really fun. You're going to get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to get a great insert. So you're going to get these like cardboard coins that will be in here. All of the cards have a nice linen finish. These will be the player aids that you get with it, with scoring on both sides. And all your starter cards will be right here. We get the order cards, which will tell you what the requirements are. They do use colors also to differentiate that, and words, which is really nice touch. And then you're going to have your ingredient cards, which will all be double-sided cards. And you'll see the keywords. If there's extras here, the icons are here. And they fit really nice together when you put them in. You can see both icons there. Great job with the components. Here's a rule book here. You're going to see a picture of all of the components, which is really nice. Setting up the game over here with a picture. A little blurb here about what to do with 2 or 3 players. Then you're going to be able to do setup and what happens to the first player. A little bit of explanation about the cards. You see pictures and little charts coming out of that. And then how to play the game. This is everything you need to play the game. And then it'll break it down into more information. You're going to need more details. You're going to see examples here will be color-coded and plenty of pictures. And little tips that they included, which I thought was a nice touch to the game. You'll see that throughout any of the game. And then there are some expansions here you can do, and a QR code if you want to find out more about this. A nice little advertisement here. And then more examples, as you can see. On the back, there isn't a player aid. There is just the credits, but that is because they have included such great player aids here on the cards and enough for each player to have one, and they are double-sided. In a 2-player game, you can just take 2 cards and have each side face up for you, which is a nice touch. Setting up the game is very easy. Each player is going to get their player aid. They will get their spatula, which will be set up on 4 victory points, and you'll have your 2 buns. In addition, there'll be 3 beginner buns or top buns that'll be up here, and each one of these will tell you what it wants. Like this one wants 3 different meats in the sandwich. You'll put 3 ingredients, each with a coin, and then each player will also receive 2 coins to start the game out with. And then once you have all those items, everybody is ready to start playing. Each player also gets 4 random ingredient cards into their hand. Here's how the game is set up. Everybody's going to have their player aid, their spatula, and their 2 buns. Everybody will start with 2 coins and 4 random ingredient cards in their hand. Then you'll have the ingredient cards up here, each type, and then you'll have one of the burgers, each with a coin on it, and each of the burgers will tell you, for example, this one said they want 3 different meats in the sandwich in order to claim it. The first thing you do on a turn is you could spend a coin per card that you want to buy. So if I want to buy all 3 cards, it would cost me 3 coins. Or I want to buy 2 of them, it would cost me 2. Or just 1 would cost me 1. Or I could buy none of them. If I wanted to buy a card, say I wanted to buy this card, I'd add it to my hand. I would pay the coin to the supply, and now I have it. It does not refill at this time. Then I can play up to 3 cards on my turn. So the first thing, when you play a bun, anything can be played. So you can see the icons will simply match right there. At this point, I would have to play a green here to match this icon, like that. So the icons would match, green, green. And I could play another one here if I wanted to, or I could play one over on this card. Once I play 3 cards, my turn is over. Then I could take one of these buns if I meet all of the requirements on it. So let's just pretend like I meet the requirements. I would put the bun here. I would grab any coins that are on it. Then I would look to see if any of these have perfect. If you look right here, this one has perfect on it. I'm not scoring this one, but had it been in this one, I would gain a coin for that. I would turn over my player aid, and based on how many ingredients there are, so it had 4 to 6 ingredients, I would get 3 coins. This one right here only has 2 ingredients, 1, 2. You never count middle buns or buns of any type. So with 2 coins, I would gain an additional coin from the supply. I would put this into my scoring pile, and these would go off into a discard pile, and this would be available to build burgers on again. Then, at the end of my turn, we would put a new ingredient out. We would also grab coins, and 2 coins would go on each of these because they were not selected, and a new top will go out. So putting more coins will make these more attractive in the future, potentially. I can always use my spatula over here if I want to. I flip it over. You can see it's worth 4 points like this. 2 points if I flip it over. And if I use it a second time, it's out and gives me no points. That would allow me to take any cards I have on here, move them to the other bun, or simply discard them out of the game. At the end of my turn, if say in this case I have 1 card left, I can discard as many cards I want, 0, 1, 2, how many cards I have, and then I draw back up to my hand limit of 4. It is of note that if you get to Colossus and you do 10 or more ingredients, I can score 10 victory points, or I could flip my bun over, and on this bun, instead of paying 3 cards per round, I could play as many as 4. At the end of the game, you're going to score points based on how many coins that you have, how many points that are on your spatula that's left, and whoever has the most buns will get an additional 5 points. At the end, whoever has the most points is the winner, and the game will end when you do not have any more orders to add to the row up here. So if I was going to add one and didn't have one to add, we would make sure everybody has an equal number of turns, and the game will end.